For more, we're bringing in NewsNation's law and justice contributor, Jennifer Coffindaffer. You know she's a former FBI special agent as well. Jennifer, always appreciate you joining us on a weekend especially. And these two attacks on Thursday happening within just hours of one another. And this is on top of the IED bombers targeting protesters near Gracie Mansion in New York City last week, on top of the deadly shooting in Austin, Texas the week before. How would you assess the current threat level on U.S. soil?
Well, I think the threat level is high, and I absolutely believe it is connected to the Iran war. Look, there are individuals that exist in the United States that have been radicalized that are just looking for that push to make them decide to commit a terroristic act like this. They already have the thought process, they've already been radicalized, they hate the United States, and they're just looking for that reason, and the Iran war gave that to them.
Yeah, is this the tipping point, do you believe, that we're seeing for lone wolves out there? Does that threat only increase the longer this war goes on? And what is the FBI doing behind the scenes to stop these incredibly difficult to detect lone wolf attacks as they're being planned?
Right. To your point, these are lone wolf attacks. To not be confused with sleeper cells. Sleeper cells are individuals that enter from foreign countries with the exact mission to go ahead and commit either terrorism attacks or other, but they assimilate in and they're very well organized and they're organized from their country of origin. That is not what we are seeing here. What we are seeing here are individuals who are radicalized. As far as what the FBI is doing, there's several things. There's operatives that are within different Muslim communities, informants, basically. That is one of the main ways. They also, what we call tickle the wires. They're looking at any and everything that might lend itself to understanding these individuals and what networks they're working in, and they're watching that as well.
Most of the time, are there signs before a lone wolf attack? Will a lone wolf who is motivated by something like the violence that we're seeing and the war in Iran talk about it in advance or reveal what their plans are?
Such a great question. Most of the time, they're what we call howlers. Or not howlers. They're actually hunters. In other words, there's people that howl and they have a big voice and they talk all about it. And so they're easily caught beforehand sometimes. But in this situation, these are true hunters. They are individuals that are more quiet about their actions as they're getting ready to plan. But I'll tell you what, Natasha, you're always looking for a proximal event, a death in the family, a domestic situation that's gone awry, a financial situation that is imploded on them. That's another triggering point that you're looking for.
Do you believe that's what we saw in Michigan? The man who attacked the synagogue, Ayman Mohammed Ghazali, who is a naturalized citizen from Lebanon. We know he recently lost his family in an Israeli airstrike on his home country. Is there any way our intelligence agencies would be aware of information specifically that granular on that level?
You know, that's the problem. It is so granular, and there are so many individuals like this that are here in our country that have become radicalized. And as I said, because of the Iranian war, you are looking at people now that are being tipped over the edge to go ahead and make these moves. And Natasha, we do have to be vigilant. If you're in a venue where there's a big event going on, that's the sort of situation you really need to be vigilant in, because they want to terrorize where the most people are.
Just days ago, the FBI warned police departments in California about an unverified claim that Iran could retaliate for American attacks by launching drones at the West Coast. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom has denied there is any imminent threat. Of course, it is leaving several residents on edge right now, Americans on edge. What do we need to know about this in particular? Where is your head at when it comes to this unverified claim?
Natasha, I'm so glad you asked about this, because this is actual information that came in, but they can't verify exactly where it's from or if it's actually credible. But they have to put it out there, because if they don't, then they would have not have given any warning. So anytime you get a warning from the FBI, even though they say they haven't verified it, it should be taken quite seriously, or else they would not have disseminated it.
What should Californians do with that information?
Well, again, this is back to the being vigilant. If you see a backpack laying around when you're flying at an airport, if you are going to be at a concert venue or some parade or something like this, you need to be ever vigilant of people acting odd. In other words, if it's 80 degrees out and they're fully covered and acting suspicious, call that in. It's a see something, say something situation because you just never know.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.